Nancy, Clinton's riding high on the momentum of Monday's debate. I wonder, though, is that enthusiasm shared by some of the supporters out there, and more importantly, those folks who haven't decided yet?
Well, there's no question that her debate performance gave a lot of her supporters a shot in the arm. I talked to a number of them here in New Hampshire today, and they were positively giddy. They said that they thought that she owned the stage. And after a few weeks of really bad polling news, it was the kind of shot in the arm that they needed. Now, whether that's going to translate to enthusiasm among young voters, which is something that she really needs, remains to be seen. But the campaign is really making a full court press. You had Michelle Obama at a couple of universities today. You had Hillary Clinton here at the University of New Hampshire with Bernie Sanders. They say he's going to be going to more battleground states. So they are really making this push because typically young voters are reliably Democratic voters, but they don't go to the polls unless they're fired up.
Why haven't we seen Bernie Sanders out on the campaign trail earlier, Nancy? Or was that part of the plan to keep him towards the back half of this race when they really need him?
Yeah, he's only actually done 4 events for Hillary Clinton so far, including the one today and the one that he did with her when he first announced his support for her back in July, also here in New Hampshire. So he's kept a pretty light schedule as far as campaigning is concerned. Her campaign argues that he has been a big asset in interviews. That, he does regular interviews with news outlets where he talks about the fact that young voters, for example, can't cast a protest vote, that if they vote for a third-party candidate like Jill Stein, like Gary Johnson, he knows a big segment of his supporters have gone in that direction, that essentially they're throwing their vote away because it could end up being a vote for Donald Trump. So that's a case that he's making in a multitude of ways, they say, but there's no question that getting him out to these battleground states, they say they're going to send him to Colorado next, he'll be in a number of other states, is a big asset for them. It gets him on the local news. It gets him out to those college campuses where they need him.
And we've also seen First Lady Michelle Obama on the trail for her in Pennsylvania. And I wonder, Nancy, has her first TV ad for the campaign, what are they saying about that? What about that unique appeal that Michelle Obama brings to this race?
Right, and that unique appeal is the fact that she is not a politician, and non-politicians always tend to be more popular than the politicians, and they're seen through a different filter. So they believe that she's a tremendous asset, and they argue that she and the president are their biggest assets with young people. Remember, before Bernie Sanders was a hit with young voters, Barack Obama was an even bigger hit with young voters. So they love to get him and Michelle Obama out on the trail as often as possible. And she delivered a couple of barn burners, I have to tell you, in Philadelphia and in Pittsburgh today, where she argued very strenuously that Donald Trump can't erase his birther past with one sentence at a press conference. She talked about his temperament, saying that he's he simply doesn't have a presidential mettle. And she said, look, we're not trying to find the perfect presidential candidate here. That's never going to happen. You have a choice between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and you have to make that choice. And that was a pretty blunt message to these college students who tend to be very idealistic. They're looking for someone who shares their big hopes and dreams. To them, Bernie Sanders was that person. And the case that Michelle Obama made today is, you don't have that choice anymore. You're choosing between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And guess what? I think she's pretty great, and you should give her a second chance.
And finally, Nancy, the New York Times has a report out saying that Trump is going to be preparing more rigorously for the next debate. He's already out on the campaign trail talking about some of the things perhaps his supporters would have wanted him to talk about. The deplorables comment, Benghazi, Bill Clinton's infidelities. He's hinted that he might use that. But also, she didn't get to deploy all of her, the tricks that she might have up her sleeve, Trump University, the Trump Foundation, the deportation, the wall. So how do you see that shaping up?
Well, I think it's going to be a different kind of debate that is going to impact both of their performances. This is going to be a town hall style debate. There will be an audience asking some of the questions, and that makes it a little bit more awkward to launch some of these very personal attacks. Beyond that, there are a lot of advisors on both sides who don't believe that it would be advantageous to Donald Trump to attack Hillary Clinton for her husband's infidelities. They don't think that that would go over very well with the suburban women he needs to win over. But the Clinton camp knows that he's seeing all the reports, that he's well aware that many people think that he needed to prepare harder for the first debate, and that he'll probably prepare more for the second debate. And so that is going to influence their preparation because they know he may come armed with, more facts and figures, and may come armed to go after her more aggressively than he did in the first debate.
Nancy Cordes for us tonight. Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome, Vlad.